My beloved child, turn your heart toward me in this very moment. Do not wait for some supposedly more convenient day, for today itself is the most fertile soil in which the wondrous seed can be sown. I am preparing to place something great into your hands, but if you keep losing yourself in the clouds of busyness and indifference, you may miss the grace that is already so very near. I am still standing right at the door, simply waiting for you to open it, so that I may begin a new season for you, one that I have destined for you from long ago. You keep asking where I am, while my word is already echoing right where you sit. It is just that your heart keeps running off, searching in strange and distant corners. You wait for some striking sign, but it is precisely the gentle whispers I send you each day that hold the key for you to step out of the confusion you are facing now. And when your faith is being torn in two by all the unfinished expectations, I am still patiently calling you back, that we may begin a new journey with your eyes open to the light. Long ago, the prophet Elijah also fell into a darkness like the one you are in now, exhausted, bewildered, and convinced that God was silent. He searched for my voice in the fierce wind, in the earthquake, in the raging fire, but I was not there. Only when Elijah stopped and listened did he finally hear my gentle, quiet whisper. You see, I am not hiding myself from you. I am only waiting for you to grow still enough to realize that I am closer than you think. My beloved child, there are moments when your heart becomes tangled like a knot of threads, not because you are weak, but because you have tried to find your answers in too many directions at once. You believe a little, then you doubt again. You ask me for something, but only a few moments later you are already afraid it will not come to pass. This makes you weary, because you are trying to carry two voices in the same heart, one voice inviting you to trust, and another pulling you back into your old fears. I see everything you are carrying, and I know you are not deliberately turning away from me. It is only that you have not yet dared to stand still long enough to realize that the answer has already been sent to you. So often, instead of opening your heart to receive what I whisper, you rush after the loud signals on the outside, a clear confirmation, a visible sign, something that must be really obvious before you will dare to believe. But my child, you do not realize that this very craving is leading you into dim and twisting alleys, where the more you walk, the more direction you lose. I have never desired your confusion, yet if you keep chasing what is grand and spectacular, you will neglect the small streams of water I am already causing to flow quietly at your feet. And then, in the midst of drawn-out disappointments, you begin to doubt even yourself. Has he forgotten me? Are my prayers no longer being heard? You do not know that, precisely when you imagine I am most silent, is when I am arranging all things with the greatest care. Just as winter prepares the hidden buds to break forth, the silence you are passing through is refining your faith. If only you would turn your eyes back to me instead of staring at your unfinished plans, you would see that I have never been far away. My child, the first thing I want you to recognize in this new season is that the chaos within you is not your enemy. It is the knock on the door that invites you to return to me. When everything feels unstable, it is not a sign that you are falling behind, but a moment in which I am drawing you closer to the source of light. Only your eyes are not yet accustomed to the way I am leading you. Let me gently guide you out of the confusion that is wrapping itself around you. For no turmoil is stronger than my hand, and no darkness can conceal the word I have spoken over your life. From here on, let me lead you into the first lesson you need in order to stand firm on the threshold of this new season. My child, at times, it is the restlessness inside that becomes the very veil, keeping you from recognizing my voice. You think I am distant, but in truth, it is the echoes of your fears, your longings, and your shattered expectations that are drowning out my whisper. Just as Samuel once heard a call in the night and thought it was Eli's voice, so too does your heart, crowded with signals and laden with petitions, begin to lose the ability to discern. I do not condemn you. I only want you to know that this inner noise is not the nature of true faith, but merely a sign that you are lending your ear to too many voices at once. Do you remember what I have taught? You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. Jer 2:9-1-3. And to seek me with all your heart, you must first restore to your heart the stillness it was created for. Do you know why your heart is so easily pulled away? Because without realizing it, you have grown used to reacting to everything that happens around you, rather than listening to what I am sowing within you. You read much, you hear much, you think much, but seldom pause to ask which of these truly comes from me. This causes my voice, so gentle and subtle, to sink beneath the waves of your thoughts and emotions. Just as when Jesus asked, "Why are you afraid? Where is your faith?" Luke 8:2-5. You too are allowing fear to shape the way you hear me, instead of letting faith do that work. I want you to understand I am not silent. It is simply that your own heart is speaking too loudly. Moreover, you have been waiting so long that each time a prayer is not answered in the way you pictured, you conclude that I am delaying or withdrawing from you. I know that weariness makes it easier for you to believe the negative rather than what I have promised. But my child, I do not move according to your sense of time. I move according to the maturity of your soul. That is why I sometimes keep silence, so that you may learn to walk by faith and not only by signs. Do you remember my word in Psalm 4:6-10? Be still and know that I am God. When you learn that inner stillness, you will hear my voice more clearly than ever before. Now, what I desire from you in this moment is not more effort, more words of prayer, or more action. What I want is for you to pause for a little while. Place your hand over your heart and say to your own soul, "Be at peace in the Lord's name." When you are at peace, you will no longer run after signs in uncertain places, because you will realize that I have not left you for even a single second. I am in your every breath, in the sleep that carried you through last night, in the protection you did not see. These are all answers to questions you have already asked. As I have promised, I am with you always, to the very end of the age. Mount 28:20. You need only turn back, and you will find me. Let me soothe your soul so that you may hear again the voice you thought had been absent for so long. And when your heart has grown quiet, you will see something deeper. It is not only the inner voices that have grown loud, but also the fears, thoughts, and choices that have slowly shifted your heart away from the place where I first set it. You do not need to be afraid of this, for I will go back over each fragment with you. What matters is that you are now willing to let me lead you more deeply into the journey of healing, where you will understand why your faith is so easily divided, and how to stand firm when the new season is drawing near. Let me keep speaking to you about these things, like a father patiently loosening each knot within your heart. My child, when I bring your heart back into stillness, that is only the beginning. Sometimes the peace you feel is only on the surface, while beneath it lie layers of doubt you have not yet named. I see clearly the moments when you lift your prayers with hope, only to lower them again a few beats later because you feel unworthy or unsure that I will actually do what you ask. It is this wavering that splits your faith in two: one half trusting me wholeheartedly, the other half afraid that if it trusts too much, it will be disappointed. Just as Peter once walked on water but began to sink when he fixed his eyes on the strong wind, you too are sinking as your gaze clings to fear instead of to me. I do not blame you. I only want you to see this truth so that you can be freed from the very things that are binding you. There are times when you think you lack faith, but what you truly lack is focus on me. Your faith has not vanished. It is simply being overshadowed by the questions you keep repeating within. What if he doesn't act? What if what I hope for never happens? What if I open my heart and am hurt again. You do not realize that these what-ifs are leaving you, stranded at a crossroads, unable to move forward, unable to go back, and unable to find rest. When I said, the double-minded person is unstable in all they do, Jas. 1:8, it was not to condemn you, but to show you that inner division wearies you more than any outward circumstance. Only when you gather your heart fully toward me, like a child clinging to the hand of their father, will you walk steadily along the path I have set before you. Even so, I know that the deeper root of your hesitation does not come from fear alone, but also from old wounds. You have once placed your trust in something and watched it collapse. You have counted on someone and been left behind. You have chosen to trust me, and yet, life did not unfold the way you expected. These experiences make you cautious when you come to me, like someone who has been abandoned, trying to love again for the first time. I understand this more than anyone. As the psalm says, the Lord heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds, Ps 1473. I am still binding up your heart, little by little, and precisely because I know how you have been hurt, I lead you gently, slowly, and patiently toward the fullness of faith. But my beloved child, no matter how much those old wounds have shaped you, I am still calling you out of the shadows of doubt, not because I need you to prove anything, but because I want you to live lightly, freely, and full of hope. You were not created to carry the burden of constant hesitation. You were created to walk in the light. As John wrote, the light shines in the darkness, Jan 1:5. Let that light enter the very places you have kept hidden. I am giving you new eyes to look at yourself, not through the lens of past hurts, but through the truth that I have never let you go. When you dare to believe this, even with just a single spark of trust, I will take care of the rest. Then, when you have taken even one small step out of your doubts, you will begin to feel a gentle shift within your soul. You will stop repeating the same old questions. You will no longer force yourself to be strong, and you will cease blaming yourself for being weak. You will realize that I have never demanded a perfect faith from you. What I desire is an honest faith, a faith that dares to say, I am weak, but I still choose to trust. This is the kind of faith that healed the woman with the hemorrhage when she simply touched the hem of my garment. For I said to her, your faith has made you well, Mark 5:3-4. For me, faith is not measured by how strong you appear, but by the way you turn toward me, even when your heart is trembling, and as you sit quietly, letting go of each thread of doubt. You will see yet another truth. Your faith is not always divided because you do not believe enough, but sometimes because you are trying to hold too many things at once. You want your own plans, and at the same time you want my will. You want safety, and at the same time you want to walk on water. You want the outcome, and at the same time you want to control every step that leads there. This division pulls your heart like a piece of cloth being stretched from both sides. I do not want you torn by these invisible struggles. Let me be the side you choose to lean on, so that you will no longer be pulled apart by things that were never meant to own you. When you begin to understand this, you will feel so much lighter, as if an invisible burden has been lifted from your shoulders, because you will realize that you do not need to be strong enough for me to answer you. You only need to be honest enough to say, I am afraid, but I want to trust. I hear words like that, and I am more moved than you think, because they are the words of a truthful child. And when that honesty begins to sprout in your heart, I can lead you into deeper steps where you not only leave your doubts behind, but also regain an inner wholeness of soul, so that you can enter a new season without being torn apart by conflicting voices within you. What many people do not realize is this: a divided faith not only makes you weary, it also causes you to miss the signs I send you each day. I will open that door with you, so that you can see the truth you have been overlooking for so long. Sit a little closer to me, because the journey into the next depth is opening before you, my beloved child. Now that you have taken one more step on the path of looking back at your own faith, I want to lead you into another truth, a truth that many hearts most often forget, not because they deliberately want to forget it, but because it has become so familiar that they no longer recognize its real power. It is the way the heart goes off course when you keep seeking answers outside and forget that I am speaking from within you. You listen to so many voices that my word seems to grow small in your perception, while in reality, my word has never lost its authority. Just as when I asked Elijah, "What are you doing here, 1KGs 199? I am also gently asking you the same question, so that you may look back and see when your heart began to stray. And dear child, once your heart wanders away from the center, which is me, it will automatically find another center to cling to. Sometimes it is a result you want. Sometimes a person you place your hopes in, and sometimes a dream you are afraid to let go of. You cling so tightly to these things that even the slightest shift in them makes your heart tremble. You think you need more signs, but in truth you need to return to the foundation I shaped in you from the beginning. I once commanded my people to remember the great deeds I have done, Deuteronomy 4:9, not so that they would live in the past, but so they would know that I am the only unchanging anchor in their lives. When your heart is set back in its right place, it will no longer fall out of rhythm because of passing things. When you are still confused, you will easily believe whatever helps you feel calm in that moment, rather than what I have spoken. That is why you often chase after vague advice, sudden impressions, or thoughts that make you feel less afraid, even though you know they do not bring lasting peace. I see you struggling like someone trying to catch running water with bare hands. The more you try to hold it, the faster it slips away. How I long for you to understand that true peace does not come from what you can control, but from the place where you dare to put your hand into mine. As Psalm 23 says, "The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing when you are with the shepherd." You do not need to run after new pastures to prove you are safe. But what touches me the most is that even when your heart is off course at times, you still occasionally come back and ask, "Lord, is this what you want?" Even though sometimes you doubt your own question right after asking it. I still receive it as a little child running back to tug at the Father's sleeve. What I desire is not that you have a heart that never goes astray, but that you have a heart that always returns when it realizes it has taken the wrong path. Like the prodigal son who got up and went back, Luke 1:5-20. You too only need to dare to turn around the distance that remains. Running toward you is my concern. I do not need you to try to be perfect. I need you to be truthful with me. And that truthfulness will cause your faith to be woven back together, piece by piece. Then, in time, you will come to see that this inner misalignment is not a failure, but a sign that you need me to set you right again. Your heart is like a small compass. Just a slight deviation can take your path very far off course. But it is all right. I am the fixed north. As long as you turn your compass back toward me, it will become steady again. And when that compass is reset, you will begin to see more clearly what I am preparing for you in the new season. You will no longer look at life with the tired eyes of yesterday, but with the clear gaze of someone who knows they are walking in the right direction. You will walk lighter, more firmly, because you know that the straightness of your heart will carry you farther than any visible sign you have ever sought. When you touch that right alignment in your soul, another door will open, a door that many who have followed me for many years still have not recognized. There are moments when your very attachment to what you believe is good actually blocks you from what I am preparing to renew. I will lead you further into this truth, so that you may understand what it means to let go in order to receive something greater from me. Do not rush. I will lead you step by step, my child. when I lead you to the point where your heart has been set back in the right direction. I want you to move even deeper into a truth that many souls are afraid to face, that is, the ability to let go of the things you think are good so that your hands are empty enough to receive what is better from me. I know this is not easy for you. You have been attached. You have invested. You have poured your hopes into things you believed I would use to bless you. But you do not realize that this very clinging sometimes keeps you from receiving what is being prepared ahead. Just as Abraham once hesitated when I told him to bring Isaac up the mountain because Isaac was the best thing he had, I understand the deep fear in your heart, the fear of loss, of pain, of emptiness. But you do not yet know that sometimes when I ask you to lay something down, it is only so that I may give you something even greater. There have been moments when you begged me for blessing, and yet at the same time, you clenched tightly what did not belong to my timing or to my intent. You say you trust me, but your hands refuse to open. That does not make you bad. It simply shows that you are placing too much meaning on what is temporary. I have said, unless a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies, it remains alone. JN 1:2-4. That verse does not speak only of sacrifice, but also of the process of flourishing. What you have to release is often what has already completed its mission. If you keep it, it will lie motionless in the soil, but if you let me take it, it will become a golden harvest you never dared to imagine. I also see that sometimes you hold on not because you are stubborn, but because you are afraid of emptiness. You ask yourself, if I let this go, will something better really come? Will I be waiting in vain, my beloved? It is precisely these questions that wear you out and make your hands tremble every time I lightly touch what you are clinging to. But remember what I once promised. The plans I have for you are plans for peace, not for disaster. Jer 2911. I do not take anything away to leave you in emptiness. I only clear space in your heart so that what is right can come at the right time. The emptiness you fear is actually the space I need to build something new. What saddens me is that you often think letting go means you have failed. You are afraid that you are giving up too easily, that you have not persevered enough, that you should have tried harder. But you do not realize that some things, the more you hold on to them, the farther you drift from my peace. I do not teach you stubbornness. I teach you the wisdom of discernment. As Paul once wrote, everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. 1 Cor 1:0-2-3. I want you to learn this lesson to distinguish between what helps your soul grow and what only delays the journey I have planned. Letting go is not stepping back. Letting go is stepping into the place I have prepared, but you have not yet dared to enter. And there will come a time when, after you have dared to lay what you love at my feet, you will feel an astonishing lightness within. You will find yourself wondering why you did not do it sooner. It is not because you were weak, but because once your hands are empty, you realize you never truly had the strength to hold those things by yourself. It was I who upheld them for you all along. And when your hands begin to open wide, I can place into them what truly belongs to you. You will experience a new kind of freedom, not merely the freedom of getting away from something, but the freedom to receive. In that freedom, your faith will grow not through passing excitement, but through a quiet, deep trust. When you reach this point, you will discover a deeper layer of meaning in your journey. Letting go is not just an action of the hands, but a movement of the heart. And when your heart opens, I can lead you to another door, a door that many souls have not yet had the chance to touch. It is the way I use the very things you once dropped, once lost, once wept over, to build something stronger within you. Keep walking with me, for on the road ahead, there is more that I want to unveil to you, something that will make you understand that nothing you place in my hands is ever truly lost. It is only transformed to prepare for a greater glory, waiting for you to step into, my beloved. Sit with me a little longer. Do not let this moment be swept away by the chaos of the world. For there are moments that do not return a second time, and there are sacred sounds which, if missed, you will not be able to hear again in another season. I see so many who let my voice drift past their lives like a passing breeze when they are in poverty. They call on me when storms rage. They lean on me, but when ordinary days return, they quickly forget me as if they had never known me. I do not blame them, but I grieve because I see their souls withering, while no one lifts their eyes to realize that I am always standing right beside them. Only a breath and a sincere cry away. My child, because I love you, I must remind you with a tenderness that cuts deep. Do not let your heart become a cold stone before my word. Do not shut your ears to the spirits stirring deep within your soul. Opportunities do not always present themselves, and there are opportunities I send only to open a door for you to escape the whirlpool that has been dragging you down for so long. If you ignore them, your soul may continue walking a path that was never meant for it, and by the time you realize it, you may already be standing far from the lamp I lit to guide your way. Be still. My child, remain here, in this very moment, so that your heart may be set down and your intentions made clear. You have run from what hurts you. You have tried to find distractions to drown out the inner call. But look back and see every time you ran, the emptiness grew larger, and the faint echoes of your spirit sank deeper into the dark. Today I need you to stay, not to endure more pain, but to allow me to step into the place you have hidden for so long, the furthest edge of your weariness, where your soul longs to be touched, to be healed, to be held. Do you think I do not see? I see all the turmoil you try to suppress, the tug of war between what you want and what you fear, the nights you lie awake while your heart keeps whispering, "Is there anyone who hears me? I hear it all. I know it all. And I am here to answer you. And do not forget that I am not only the one you read about in the holy books or a figure in some sacred story. I am your Father, the one who formed you with my own hands and placed within you your very first breath. The love I have for you does not change with your moods, is not diminished by your failures, and is not shaken by the mistakes you have made. That love stretches from before you existed and will last into eternity. And it is still covering you now like the air you breathe every day. I have already prepared for you a path that leads to life, to a deep peace you have longed for, but have never been able to find in the temporary things you are holding on to. You run to people, searching in one person, then another, searching in your work, in fleeting relationships, in short-lived joys. But do you see? All of these things only fill your heart for a moment, then quickly leave it empty again, so that at the end of the day you bow your head before me with a heart weighed down. My child, do not let your heart be swept away by the empty promises of this world, for none of them can replace the life that flows from me alone. Look closely into your own spirit, and you will see there are things that have stolen the joy I long to place inside you. Sometimes it is disappointment, sometimes it is doubt, and at other times it is old wounds you thought had faded, but in truth were only covered over. All of these things are slipping into the smallest cracks of your heart and extinguishing the flame I am trying to kindle there. You are not wrong for feeling weak. What is wrong is when you allow that weakness to become chains that bind your soul. Do not let those noises cause you to no longer recognize that I am right beside you. Do you know that every time you inhale, it is I who am sustaining that very breath, that every morning you open your eyes is proof that I still have compassion on you. You are not lost. You simply need to lift your heart out of the cloud of doubt to see my light waiting for you. Seek me with all your heart, not by mere ritual, not through a few hurried petitions, not through lifeless habits, but with the true longing of a heart that wants to meet its Father. When you seek me like that, you will find me. For I have never hidden myself from you. I stand at the door of your heart each day, patiently knocking, even when you are too weary to open. I walk behind you on the days you turn your back, even when you do not want me near. I lay my hand on your shoulder in the moments you think you have been abandoned. Even when you have never once called my name, I am still there, still loving, still waiting, still desiring to lead you home. And as soon as you turn back, you will see that I have never left. My child, this world is moving faster than you think. Time is passing more quickly than you realize. And the signs I am showing to humanity are appearing more densely than ever before. Yet what I care about most is still your heart, a heart I want to awaken, to heal, and to set ablaze again. I do not want you to miss the chance to see the glory I am preparing, nor do I want you standing on the sidelines while I am restoring the lives of those who are willing to open up. I am inviting you to come deeper, closer, more real. Do not delay any longer. Do not hesitate anymore. Let my words soak into your very bones, into your thoughts, into every fragment of your soul. Do you know that I am still waiting for the moment your heart nods? Yes, just a small nod, but enough for me to step in and transform everything within you. When you are willing, there is no wall too thick, no darkness too deep, no wound too profound that I cannot touch and renew. You only need to open your heart. You only need to believe that it is truly I who am calling you in this very moment. And once you respond, you will see what you have longed for all this time but thought was out of reach, a peace that does not come from circumstances, a joy that does not depend on success, and a hope not controlled by what your eyes see or your ears hear. All of these are found in me, and I am here waiting for you to reach out your hand, my beloved child, from the very place where you are standing today. I long to lead you deeper into the truth of my presence, a truth you have heard many times but have not yet allowed to penetrate to the core of your soul. When the words in the book of Isaiah call out, "Seek the Lord while he may be found," that is not only a word for those long ago, but a voice resounding in this very moment as you are breathing. You do not realize that the very moment you feel most alone is often when I am nearest. For I do not reveal myself in the clamor out there. I choose to dwell in the quiet spaces you usually overlook. My child, how many times have you chased after affirmations from the world, sought signs, signals, or intense sensations so you could believe that I am at work, while not knowing that my nearness is as close as your next breath, so gentle that if you do not become still, you will pass right by me without recognizing me. That is why today I draw your heart closer to mine, like a father taking the hand of a lost child, so that you may hear clearly what I have long desired to say, but you have not been still enough to receive. In the past, I have spoken to you in countless ways, from the subtle sounds in your spirit to the inexplicable stirrings in your heart. There were nights when you woke up without knowing why your heart was restless. That was when my Holy Spirit was touching you, pulling you away from thought patterns that could lead you astray. There were moments in the rush of life when you suddenly paused for a few seconds and felt the need to be cautious, to reconsider, to look back at what was happening that was not some vague intuition, but a signal I awakened in your depths. Do you remember times you met a stranger whose words were exactly what you needed to hear? Or when you happened upon a verse in Scripture that seemed to shine a light on the very ache in your heart, you thought it was coincidence? But I tell you, there is no coincidence in the life of one who belongs to me. Every movement bears my imprint. Each door that closed in your life was not meant to leave you disappointed, but to redirect you. Each opportunity that opened was not for you to rejoice in hastily, but for you to learn discernment. You simply did not know that all these things were my gentle ways of whispering, "Your Father is here." Yet today, my child, I do not come to you through fragile signs anymore, because your heart is in need of a direct word. You have walked through so many long days, your mind pulled between tangled anxieties, expectations, and doubts. I do not want you to remain in that whirlpool. I come at this very moment like a beam of light shining into a room that has long been shut, not to accuse you, but so that you can see that life still remains within you. I want your soul to stand face to face with me, not through symbols, not through conjecture, not through veiled hints anymore. Let your heart be like open soil, so that the seed I sow will not be choked by the stones and thorns of worry. This is the moment I long for you to lay down all the noise in your mind, to set aside the patterns of thought that have made you afraid, and to listen to me with the deepest part of your spirit, the very place where I placed my Holy Spirit on the day you were created. You cannot imagine how near I am to you, not only near in some figurative sense, but truly near as a father standing just behind you, close enough that if you lean back slightly, you could feel the warmth of my arms around you. There are times you think I am somewhere far away, in the high heavens or in some sacred place you must strain to reach. But my child, I do not love you from afar. I do not rule your life from a distant throne. I am here, in the very moment your eyes are seeing, in the very breath you assume is simply natural, in the heartbeat you have never really noticed. I do not need you to shout for me to hear you, because I am right beside you, just waiting for you to whisper softly, "Father, know this, my presence does not depend on your feelings. Even when you do not feel me, I am still standing there, just as the sun continues to shine even when dark clouds hide it. So, my presence still surrounds you, even in your driest moments. Many times you have asked why you no longer hear my voice, why the things that once moved you now seem dull. You think I am silent, but in truth I am waiting for you to step out of the noisy currents of your mind, so that you may regain the spiritual sensitivity you have misplaced. I do not condemn you for this. I only long for you to know that the silence you sense is not always my absence, but often my invitation, my child. Come closer. When Elijah passed through a night of despair in the cave, he did not hear me in the strong wind, nor in the earthquake, nor in the raging fire. He heard me in a gentle whisper. You are the same. You are waiting for a powerful voice, an obvious sign, something big enough to prove that I am speaking. But I want you to grow, not depending on outward things. I want you to recognize me in the stillness, because those who recognize me in stillness will not be shaken by storms. That is why today I speak directly into your soul, so that you will no longer confuse passing emotions with my calling. My child, I know there are times when you live as though I were far away. You worry as though everything were resting on your shoulders alone. You are afraid as though you were rowing by yourself across the sea of life. But you forget that it is I who placed breath in your chest, who watched over you as you slept, who protected you from countless things you never even knew about. If I were to take my eyes off you for even a moment, you would not be standing here right now. Remember what I have spoken. I have engraved you on the palms of my hands, is 4916. You are not forgotten. You are held right at my heart. And precisely because you are held in my hand, today I want your heart to awaken. I want your heart to reconnect with the truth that I am nearer than ever. This is not an empty promise. It is the declaration of your God, the one who is speaking even as you read these words. Open your heart, not by forcing yourself to believe, but by yielding like a child, resting quietly in their father's arms. You do not need to prove anything to me. Do not need to pretend to be strong. Do not need to tidy up your heart before coming. You only need to come. Come exactly as you are now, tired if you are tired, confused if you are confused, dry if you are dry, weak if you are weak. I am not afraid of these things. I only grieve when you try to overcome them alone, without calling on me. In this holy moment, I am touching the deepest place in your heart, the place you rarely allow anyone to see. You cannot see this with your eyes, but your soul is receiving it. I am opening a new space within you, a place where my peace can remain and take root. Let me go deeper, beyond the defenses you have built out of fear of being hurt. Let me touch the places you have hidden, the places you have not dared to name. For you can only hear me clearly when those defenses no longer thicken the distance between us. Therefore today, my child, listen to each word as though I am placing my hand upon your head and whispering, for just as you have sensed, this is not a passing thought, this is a real encounter, face to face, your soul meeting, my heart. My Holy Spirit is moving with every breath you take, wrapping around you like a cloak around a trembling child. You are not merely reading my words, you are being addressed by me directly. And from this moment on, I will lead you into a new journey, a journey in which you will no longer confuse my voice with the voice of fear. You will walk as one who knows their Father is near, watching, guiding, loving, and supporting every step. Open your heart just a little more, for what I am about to speak next will change the way you see yourself and the way you see the new season unfolding before you. My child, I want you to sit quietly before me, because what I am about to say is not to teach you in a way that makes you afraid, but to draw you even closer to my heart. My love for you has no starting point and no ending line. It does not come because you deserve it, and it does not fade because of your mistakes. It is not like earthly things that can be weighed, measured, or bound by conditions. That love covers you the way the sky embraces the earth, vast like an ocean stretching beyond the horizon, and steadfast like the heartbeat that sustains life. I love you in a way that makes all of heaven bow in awe, because that love is my very nature, something I cannot and will never withdraw from you. But do you know what the most important thing is? It is that the time has come for you to open your heart and receive this not merely as knowledge, as words on a page or a doctrine, but as the very breath that nourishes your soul each day. I am here, not as an idea, but as the real presence of the one who saw you before you ever saw yourself. You have walked through long, weary days, hoping for a word of comfort from someone, hoping for a hand on your shoulder telling you that you are going to be all right, hoping for a clear sign that you are not wandering off the path. I have watched you run everywhere, searching for what I have already placed deep within your soul. You have leaned on advice that changes from day to day with human moods. You have looked into fleeting glances, trying to find reassurance. You have waited for some spectacular event to feel that I am near. But my beloved, I am right there in the beating of your heart even before you open your eyes. You do not need to wait for a mighty wind. You do not need a pillar of fire. You do not need the heavens to split open so that I can shout aloud. I have been speaking to you day after day through the peace you feel whenever you are willing to stop. Yet because your heart is constantly pulled outward by everything around you, you do not recognize that this is the greatest sign. I give you a peace unlike anything the world can offer. You have assumed that I am silent simply because you do not hear a sound. But I am not found in the noise the way you imagine. I am in the stillness you tend to avoid. I am in the slow breaths you take when you sit down after a long day. I am in the stream of tears no one ever sees, in that place where you think you are completely alone. And it is precisely in that quiet that my imprint is most clearly revealed. When you allow your heart to grow calm, the first thing that appears is not an answer to every problem, but a lightness you cannot explain. That is me. That is how I hold you. Yet you keep thinking it is just a passing feeling. So you continue to look for other proofs, a dramatic event, a certain word, an open door, and while you are searching, You do not realize that I am whispering. You do not have to run anymore. I am already here. This world can take you to mountaintops and then abandon you as you fall. People can promise you forever and change in a single moment. Promises built on their emotions may shine like glass at first, but they shatter easily when the wind shifts, and you have tasted that many times, to the point that you even doubt my promises. But my beloved, my word is different. I am the unchanging one, the same yesterday, today, and forever. I do not promise just to please you and then forget. I do not love you because today you did well and then withdraw when you are weak. I do not comfort you once and then leave you to handle everything else on your own. I am the faithful one. If I have set my love upon you, then no power in heaven or on earth can snatch it from my hand. And if I have said that I am with you, then you need no proof beyond that word. Yet because you live in a world where everything must be seen, touched, and verified, you want to apply that same principle to your relationship with me. You want to see a tangible presence before you believe I am at work. You want to see your prayers answered immediately so you can be sure I am listening. You want to see the path clearly laid out before you so you can trust that I am leading you. But faith is not seeing first and then believing. It is believing so that you may truly see. The real sign does not lie in changing circumstances, but in the peace I place within your heart even when nothing seems to change. When you set your trust in me instead of in your situation, you will witness something marvelous. Your anxieties come to a halt. Your mind returns to stillness, and your heart feels as though it is covered with a fragrant oil that makes every ache grow lighter. That is the mark I place within you, not outside you. Do you remember those days filled with worry, when in a single moment you knelt down, barely managed to call my name, and suddenly felt your heart soften as if someone had gently touched it? You thought it was just you trying to calm yourself. But you were wrong. That was me. That was my answer to the question you had cried out weeks before, Lord. Are you still with me? I answered you with peace. Because true peace cannot be faked, cannot be manufactured, and cannot be borrowed from this world. It has only one source, me alone. My child, I do not want you to live a life constantly chasing visible proofs. I want you to have ears that belong to heaven, and eyes that can recognize my traces in the smallest details. When you woke up this morning and your heart did not feel as heavy as it did yesterday, that was my sign. When you made it through an exhausting day without collapsing, that was my sign. When you were hurting, yet still managed to smile at someone, that was my sign. When you wanted to give up many times but somehow still had just enough strength to hold on a little longer, that too was my sign. You simply have not realized it. But I have always been here. I see you searching so much on the outside that you forget to look at what I have already placed within you. You have waited for others to understand you, while I have known you completely since you were in your mother's womb. You have longed for someone to stay, while I have never left you, not even for a single heartbeat. You have hoped someone would comfort you, yet it is I who have wiped away your tears when no one else knew. You thought you had been abandoned, but in truth, you had only forgotten to turn toward me. And today, I want you to pause, breathe deeply, and open your heart so that this truth can flow in you. Do not need any other sign to know that I love you. I myself am the greatest sign. My peace within you is the deepest proof. My presence in your very breath is the surest promise. Stop searching for what seems far away, because what you are longing for is already in my hand, and I am placing it into your heart. Little by little, do not let this world confuse you anymore. Do not let other voices drown out mine. Let the stillness within your soul become the place where you and I meet each day. For when you accept the truth that my love has covered you long before you knew how to call my name, you will no longer run in circles, searching. You will stop, look up, and see that I have been standing beside you all along. You will walk forward not with a doubting heart, but with a heart that knows that even in the darkest stretch, I'm still leading you toward the dawn, and you will understand so deeply that nothing can ever take it away that I am the one who walks with you, the one who keeps you, the one who loves you with an unchanging love. Let that peace blanket your heart. Let me take my rightful place in your life, the center, the source, the breath, and everything you will ever need, my beloved child, to continue what I have just sown into your heart in the previous reflection. Now I want to lead you deeper into the true meaning of the waiting time you have been through. Let me speak to you with clearer words, stronger and penetrating to the deepest places of your soul, because the road ahead of you is not merely a turning point. It is a decisive season for the entire journey I am unfolding. I do not want you to enter it in confusion, nor do I want you to carry with you the fragments of uncertainty you have grown used to holding on to for so long. You have walked a very long stretch of silent exhaustion. You have tried to stand firm in days when your heart was more drained than ever. I have seen the nights when you lay still in the dark, wondering if your prayers could still rise at all. I know the mornings when you woke up with little hope left, only a fragile thread of effort keeping you from collapsing. You think I have not heard, but I have been listening to every moment. You think I have not noticed, but I have watched every trembling breath of yours. You think I have been silent, but in truth I have been sitting beside you. You just have not had enough inner peace to recognize me. The long season you have called hopeless waiting has, without your knowing, been the training ground into which I placed you, not to make you suffer, but to make you strong, not to strip you of hope, but to teach you that true hope does not rest on the fragile things you are trying to cling to. You thought you were forgotten, but do you know, it was precisely in those seemingly paralyzed days that I used quiet things to shape your soul. You could not see it, but I was softening your heart, deepening your faith, breaking the things you had depended on. You could not hear it, but I was speaking to you in ways you did not expect, a sudden peace in the middle of the night, a small idea that helped you stand firm for one more day, a single tear that eased the tension in your heart. When you thought you were merely surviving, you were in fact being formed. Your season of waiting has never been as wasted as you imagined. It is a refining process reserved only for those I love. And now, listen to me carefully. The time I am preparing to lead you into is very near. So near that a small shift in your heart is enough for you to sense that the old things are closing. But I do not want you to step into this new thing in confusion, nor do I want you to enter it with the attitude of someone walking in suspicion. The new season I have for you requires a sharpness in your spirit, ears that can discern my voice from the voice of your own heart, and a sensitivity that can perceive my footsteps even when you have no visible sign to hold on to. You have come a long way, and this stage, the waiting stage, has fulfilled its purpose. It has taught you that you cannot control the future by your own strength. It has trained you to keep silent even when everything in you wants to scream. It has made you quieter, deeper, and closer to me than ever before. You think what I want from you is strength. No, my beloved, what I want from you is a heart that knows how to bow low. You imagine I will use those who are unbending, but I use those who know how to listen. You assume I will choose the successful, but I use the souls that have been broken, because they understand what it means to depend on me rather than on themselves. You once asked me, why must I wait this long? And I want you to know that none of your seasons of waiting are meaningless. Waiting is so that you may learn to walk by faith without needing to see. Waiting is so that you may learn to love me, not only when everything is easy. Waiting is so that you may recognize that my answer does not only lie in the outcome, but in the very journey that makes you more like me. Remember what I spoke through my prophet Isaiah. Those who wait for the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar high like a phoenix. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not grow faint. You think you are weakening, but in reality your strength is being renewed day by day in the slow rhythm of heaven. Now, as this new milestone in your life draws near, you will see more clearly why I had to lead you through that season. If I had opened the door earlier, you would not have been ready. If I had shown you what I promised too soon, you would have held it with trembling hands. If I had placed the new thing in your heart while you were still questioning me, you would have lost it because your heart was not yet at rest. There are gifts that can only be given when your hands are no longer clinging to the past. And now, you stand at that very point, the point where your heart has been stripped down, where you no longer seek me in the noise, where your weariness has drawn you into a deeper stillness. It is there that I will speak to you most clearly. Prepare your heart as a soldier prepares before battle, not in anxiety, but in sacred discipline. Guard your heart from the voices that cause you to lose your way. Keep your eyes fixed on me. Do not let fleeting things pull you off the path I have set for you. Let the days of waiting that have passed become a foundation you step up from, not chains that hold you back. You have gone through more than you realize, and you are stronger than you believe. You have been forged in the fire of the night and in the silence of God. And it is precisely this that has made you into someone to whom I can entrust this new season. Do not think that the change ahead is just a small step in your life. No, it is an answer woven from your very tears, your choked prayers, the days when you thought you could not go on. It is the distillation of everything that you and I have walked through together. And because it is that important, I need you to step into it with wakefulness, with discernment, and with an absolute attachment to me. What you are waiting for is not just an open door, but an entirely new journey, a journey for which your heart must be fully awakened. Come closer to me, for what I am about to speak will be the light for your steps in this new season, and I want you to receive it with a heart that no longer trembles, a mind that no longer doubts, and a soul that knows that everything I do is born of love for you. Your season of waiting is about to close, and the season of fulfillment is drawing nearer than you think. But before you step into it, there is something most important I want to tell you, my beloved child. I want you to listen very carefully, because from here I will move into a deeper layer of your soul, a place you yourself have never dared to fully open. You cannot step into what I have prepared if your heart is still clinging to things that no longer serve the journey ahead. It is not that I want you to deny your past, but I want you to look at it with eyes that have become more mature, clearer, and more understanding. There are things that once helped you stand, that once comforted you, but they have completed their purpose and cannot walk with you any further. Just as Israel had to leave Egypt even though they had grown used to living there, you too must leave behind old ways of thinking, old emotions, old fears, because if you do not, these very things will hold you back at the threshold where I am opening a completely new door before you. I know this makes you feel uneasy, because leaving what is familiar always creates an empty space, and you fear that emptiness will hurt. But, my child, the emptiness I create is the very space I use to fill you. I am calling you gently, yet solemnly. Lay down everything that has worn your soul, thin the burdens you have strained to carry all this time, the expectations you have forced upon yourself, the responsibilities you no longer have the strength to bear, and even the memories that make you tremble when you revisit them. Not everything from yesterday has a place in your tomorrow. I want to give you something greater, but your hands must be empty. I stand in the very room where you are breathing, where you are wrestling, where you feel you are down to your last strength. Right there. I am speaking to you clearly, not vaguely. Not in circles. You must let go of what weighs you down so much that you cannot take another step. What I am preparing goes far beyond anything you have ever imagined. And not every weight from your past can step onto the new ground I have set aside for you. Remember this, a new season requires a new person, my child. What is coming is neither ordinary nor random. It calls forth from you a deeper, more mature obedience. The kind of obedience that does not act because it is forced, but because it trusts completely. This is no longer the time for you to follow your confusion or let anxiety make decisions for you. There have been far too many times when you allowed insecurity to lead you into choices that pulled you backward. But this time, I want you to stop and listen carefully. What I am about to give will come only by my voice, not by the noise of the world. You must recognize what comes from me and what does not. You must distinguish between what is true and what merely sounds pleasant. You must recognize what is deep over what is easy. This is the moment I am bringing order to your life again. I am removing the layers that cover your sight, lifting away what no longer has value, and strengthening what will become your foundation in the next stage. I know there are times you look at your circumstances and ask, why is everything so hard? Why do I keep taking the long way around? Why can't it just be simpler? But, my child, nothing I do is ever meaningless. You are standing in the middle of a journey where every experience, painful or joyful, is shaping you so that you are strong enough to receive what I am about to give. There were days you thought you had been abandoned, but in truth, I was leading you through the desert to make your heart strong. There were seasons you thought were delays, but in fact I was holding you back so you would not step into something before its time. It is not that I am slowing things down, I am preparing you. It is not that you have been stopped, you have been in the process of being formed. Every step I have led you in has been intentional. Now I want you to grasp something that only those with deep faith truly recognize. The season of waiting has fulfilled its purpose. You have learned what I intended you to learn. You have become more mature than the person you were in the last season. And now, the door of fulfillment is quietly opening. But do not think everything will unfold exactly as you imagined. You have pictured things according to the limits of your own experience, while I design according to the wisdom of the one who created the universe. My plans are higher than your plans, deeper than what you know, and wider than the scope of what you can see. I do not want you to lean on what you think, but on what I know. Let me take your hand. Stop directing yourself in your own way. When you release your own understanding to take shelter under my wisdom, you will see doors open gently before you, doors you once believed were impossible. Hear me even more clearly. What I am about to do in your life will not be a brief flash of light that quickly fades. It will mark a lasting, enduring change, a turning point that will color your entire life differently. Your silent prayers, your unseen tears, the nights you could not sleep because of worry, none of these have fallen into nothingness. They have become the soil that nourishes the seed I have planted in you. You once thought you were slow, but in truth, you were being prepared. You once thought you were rejected, but in truth I was protecting you from what would have ruined your future. You once thought you were delayed, but in truth I have been arranging a fulfillment perfect down to the very breath. And because of this, what is coming will make you understand that not a single detail of your life has been wasted. Not one of your tears is meaningless. Not one of your trials is useless. Not one season of waiting has been in vain. All of them are converging to become the foundation for what I am setting before you. This will not resemble anything you have experienced before, because it is not the result of your anxious striving, but the fruit of my power at work in your life. I will open a way you would not even have dared to dream could exist. You will know that it did not come from your restless efforts, but from my hand the hand of the one who has seen you, understood you, and led you since the days when you did not even know how to name your hope. Therefore, my beloved child, do not despise anything you have gone through. Do not look at the hard days as a string of failures. Do not assume that your wounds are meant only to leave scars. The very burdens you thought were crushing you are becoming your strength. The delays you thought were pointless are becoming your protection. The losses that seemed senseless are becoming doors into what I have long desired to place in your hands. Every fragment has its place in the masterpiece I am completing. And when that picture comes into full light, you will have no response but to say, "If it had not been for the Lord, I would not be standing here today." My child, in order to receive what I am about to pour into your life, your heart can no longer lean on the temporary supports that only exist for a moment. The fragile things you once clung to, a human promise, a plan you built yourself, a passing emotion, cannot serve as the foundation that will carry you in the new season. I am opening. This season will not be like those before, because it requires of you a clearer and more serious choice than ever. There is no longer room for half-heartedness, nor for steps taken in half-belief and half-doubt. You cannot move toward me while still holding on to what is quietly pulling you away from the path I have marked out for you. You cannot stand in the light and at the same time seek comfort in familiar shadows. You also cannot keep searching among countless shallow words of advice, vague consolations, or solutions of your own making. Then expect them to fill the emptiness in your heart. These things only make you more tired. They leave you thirstier rather than quenching your thirst. You must understand that every answer of true worth can only come from me alone, the one who knows every step of the way, who sees what your eyes have not yet seen and what your heart has not yet understood. If your soul still seeks security in what is fleeting, you will not have the strength to receive the enduring grace I have prepared. You cannot place your hope in me while turning back to lean on the very supports I have long called you to leave behind. You cannot feed your heart with what the world offers and still expect my presence to fill the whole space within you. Light and darkness cannot share the same roof. Truth and illusion cannot share the same refuge. I am inviting you into a new land, a place where only those who surrender completely can set foot. And remember this, every change of season draws a clear line. It distinguishes those who are willing to come closer to me from those who still cling to what is old, those who humbly submit from those who tightly grasp their own will, those who step forward from those who freeze in place, afraid to go on. That line is not meant to exclude you, but to help you see your own heart more clearly, to know where you are standing, what you are longing for, and in whom you are placing your trust. My child, I have laid my hand upon you, and that has never been a coincidence or a passing emotion. That touch is the mark of a calling, the evidence that I appointed your portion in my plan long before you knew how to call my name. I did not choose you because you surpass anyone else, nor because you possess all the qualities you think you need. I do not love you because you are perfect. I chose you because I see what will be formed in you when my grace is at work. I see the moments when you collapse, yet do not let go. I see the tears you tell no one about. I see the hidden fears you try to bury beneath your smile. But above all, I see the seed of courage buried deep within you, the seed I planted before you were even formed in your mother's womb. I know exactly what I have placed inside you. I know what will bloom, what must be removed, what must be reshaped. I know, because I am the one who formed you with my own hands, breathed my breath into you, and set a piece of my heart within your soul. And my child, I am calling you to things greater than anything you have ever thought yourself capable of. At times you look at your life and think there is nothing special about you, nothing remarkable, that your life is too small to make any meaningful difference. But you do not realize that the great things I prepare always begin with very small things. I have never required you to be strong in your own strength. I only ask that you agree to let my strength flow through your life. I have seen the many times you have condemned yourself for feeling unworthy. Yet I have never chosen based on worthiness. I choose according to purpose. And my purpose in your life was set before you spoke your first word, before you understood what it meant to love, to trust, or to take a step of faith. You are a work in my hands, and that work has never been abandoned. You keep thinking you are powerless, but I see you as stronger than you imagine. You feel unworthy, yet that very humility makes it easier for me to shape you. You are afraid, but your fear does not drive me away. It draws me closer, because I know that the child standing trembling at the door of a new season is the one I will lead forward with the gentlest care. In my intention, every detail has been prepared with precision and completeness. Nothing in your life is random, no wound is meaningless, no tear falls without my keeping it. I have arranged all things with an accuracy only I possess. You see the present moment, but I see the whole journey. You see a few months, a few years. I see your entire life from beginning to end. And when I say that all things have been accomplished within my purpose, it is not a mere consolation, it is truth from eternity. The season you are entering will require of you the surrender of a child who no longer wishes to clutch broken stones in both hands, so that you may receive the diamond I have prepared. I do not want you to repeat the old ways of living depending on today's emotions only to doubt again tomorrow, believing when it is convenient, and trembling when the storms come, walking with a heart divided between me and the things you think keep you safe. I want you to stand firm, with a faith refined, a faith not of short-lived excitement, but of steady trust, even when nothing is visible ahead. This transformation will distinguish those who merely carry my name from those who truly follow me. You were not destined to be a spectator standing on the sidelines. You were created to step into the current of what I am doing on this earth. You are part of that unfolding, a witness to the work I am doing, the one I send so that my light may be revealed in the dark places of the human heart. You are not small in my eyes. You are never small when you bear the imprint of the Almighty upon your soul. I do not promise that you will not face challenges. I promise that there will be no challenge I cannot turn into an opportunity for you to grow. I do not say that you will always see the way ahead. I say that if you place your hand in mine, you will not be lost. I do not promise that every door you knock on will open, but I promise that the doors that must open will be ones no one can shut. I am not bringing you into a new season for you to manage on your own. I am bringing you into it because I will walk it with you. You need only one thing to trust: that I know what I am doing. And if you believe that, everything else will fall into place, like the pieces of a pattern I have already designed. My child, set your heart in order. Prepare yourself for what I will lay upon your shoulders, not a burden, but a mission, not a responsibility that makes you tremble in fear, but an honor that causes your soul to shine. Before long, you will see the things I am doing in your life, and you will understand why I had to lead you through twists and turns, through losses, delays, and moments when you felt abandoned. All of it has been my way of making you ready, and when you stand at that threshold, you will know you are not alone. You will know that my choice of you has never been a mistake. You will know that you are standing exactly where I want you to be, at precisely the time I have appointed, with a heart refined and hands prepared to receive what goes beyond all you have expected. My beloved child, I know the road ahead of you will no longer be as gentle as the paths you once walked, because the change about to touch your life is not a soft breeze, but a strong wind, powerful enough to shake foundations you thought could never be moved. Yet do not fear the trembling of the ground, for I am the one who set the earth in its place, and I am standing beside you in every movement that makes you shudder. There are things you believed were the pillars of your life, but when my light shines on them, you will see they were only worn beams painted over with a sense of temporary safety. That is why, when I begin to touch them, Those layers of false security will fall away, not to rob you, but to expose the solid rock I have long prepared for you. You will be startled when what you once leaned on begins to crack. But my child, do not stare at the fractures in fear. Look at my hand holding you in the midst of the shaking. I know you have grown accustomed to living within what you carefully built, the plans you thought were flawless, the relationships you were sure would last, the habits you clung to so life would feel predictable. But now, I am peeling these layers away one by one, not to make you lose your way, but to lead you out of the box you sealed around yourself. Every shift taking place now is measured by me with care, nothing extra, nothing lacking. I am removing what weighs your heart down, because you cannot step into the new season with a backpack full of old fragments. You once asked, "Why does God make me wait so long?" And today I answer you, if I had opened the door too early, you would have walked through it with a haste I do not desire, for haste would undo what I am building in you. Waiting is not punishment. Waiting is the training ground where your capacity is enlarged. Have you ever seen a child wear the crown of an adult? It is not that the crown does not belong to the child, but that the child must grow so the head is steady enough to hold it. So it is with you. You must grow in faith to carry what I am preparing. You will come to understand that the long waiting was never because I am slow, but because you needed more time for your heart to become steadfast, enduring, and settled in faith. I do not wish to place something too heavy in your hands while they are still trembling. I do not wish to entrust you with what is precious while you are not yet awake enough to recognize its value. When you are unprepared, even a blessing can become a burden. Now, through all the testing, the nights you wept in silence, the moments you thought you had lost everything, the times you turned back to grasp my hand when you felt you had only one breath of strength left, these very things have strengthened your soul. You thought you were slowing down, but in truth you were being forged. Like gold in the fire is not consumed but refined. You too are shining brighter with every upheaval. I see the quiet transformation within you. You no longer react as you once did. You no longer panic as before. You now know when to be still and when to move. In this maturity, I know you have reached your appointed time. A time when, in the past, if you had touched the blessing, you would have lost it in a moment. But now, if I place something important in your hands, you will know how to guard it, nurture it, and use it according to my will, not according to fear or personal longing. You once thought my silence meant I did not hear you, but in reality I was silent so that you would hear your own heart more clearly, and learn to recognize my voice amid 100 others. My dear child, what I am setting before you is not merely an answer to the cries you have offered me over the years. Yes, I will answer you, but what I have prepared is greater than your requests. It is part of a much larger design I am weaving with your life. You have thought your prayers concerned only yourself, your future, your family, your dreams. But I am leading you into a place where every decision you make will touch the lives of others. You think you are only trying to live an ordinary life, yet I am shaping you into someone you never imagined you could be. I did not allow you to pass through recent trials just for you to remain where you are. I am bringing you to a point where your influence will extend far beyond what you now understand. Each step you take will create an echo you will not immediately see. You will speak a word, and that word will uphold another person, not because it comes from knowledge, but because it comes from experience steeped in pain and in grace. You will make a small decision, and that decision will set in motion change within your family, your community, even within the souls of those I place in the orbit of your life. You cannot imagine the weight of the path I am about to lead you on, because if you knew it all, you would be too afraid to move. But do not worry, I will walk with you, not just for a few steps, but along the whole way. You will realize that the tremors you feel now are not signs of collapse, but the beginning of rebuilding. I do not build on weak ground. I build only on foundations that have been purified. Everything you think you have lost is simply making room for what is new. Everything you see as failure is in fact a step backward to gain momentum for a farther leap. You are the child I have chosen, and I never prepare small things for the one I choose. I am leading you up the mountain, not so you can display yourself, but so you can see clearly the direction I want you to go. It is no accident that I have allowed you to pass through so many layers of hurt, waiting, questioning, and rekindled hope. All of these are becoming the ground on which you will stand firmly when I enlarge your sphere of influence. If you have ever asked, why me? Then today the answer is, because you have been chosen to become part of something greater than you think. When I transform a person's life, I do not do it merely so that person will be happier. I do it so that life can become an instrument carrying my life to others. You are about to enter a phase in which the light I have placed within you will shine far, bringing healing to many, even when you are unaware of it. Do not be anxious if you feel not gifted enough, not strong enough, not holy enough. No one steps into my plan by perfection. They step in by willingness. And you are willing, even if you do not think you are. I see what you cannot yet see in yourself. I know your capacity when it rests in my hands. What is coming will not only touch the prayers you have lifted up, but will also reach into the destinies of many who are waiting for the light that I have hidden in you, the light you do not yet know you carry. Therefore, my child, do not fear the trembling any longer. See it as the sound of approaching footsteps of something I am bringing toward you, not the sound of something falling apart. See it as the noise made when I remove the chains you once thought were normal. See it as my reminder that you are bigger than you imagine, more mature than you realize, stronger than you have ever felt. And when you finally stand in the place to which I am leading you, you will understand that every moment of waiting, every tear you shed, every time you thought you had collapsed, all of them were stones laid carefully along the path that brought you to this very position, the place where my purpose and my presence will be revealed through your life. My child, every journey you have walked, from the days full of radiant light to the long nights when not a single glimmer of hope could be found, has been woven together into a picture far larger than what your eyes can perceive right now. Every hidden tear, every tremor of your heart caused by nameless fear, every moment you thought you had reached your limit, all of these I have gathered into my own heart, like a father who gently holds the cracked pieces of his beloved child. No pain you endured was abandoned in silence. No battle you fought alone was one I did not stand beside you in. You may think those long, hazy days were meaningless trials, but to me, they are living stones forming the foundation I am carefully building within your soul. I never allow anything to happen randomly. Every moment has been woven with profound purpose. And even though you do not yet understand, you are being led toward the fullness I planned from the beginning. There are seasons when your heart feels so empty that even breathing becomes heavy. You lift your eyes to the heavens and see no sign. And you ask, Lord, are you still there? Yet it is in those very days, when my silence seems overwhelming, that I am working more than ever. I am arranging what you cannot yet see with human eyes. I am opening doors you are not strong enough to step through prematurely. I am closing paths you believed were right, but would wound your soul in the long run. Remember how Israel panicked when I led them through the wilderness too long. They thought I had abandoned them, but I was preparing them for the promised land. You are the same. The winding paths are not detours. They are the arms I use to protect and shape you. Do not fear my silence, for silence is not absence. It is the way I soften the soil of your heart so the seed may take deeper root. I understand there are nights when you fall to the lowest depths of your emotions and think that if I were truly near, things would have been easier. But you do not yet know that there are battles I need you to walk through, not to weaken you, but to help you discover the strength that has always been within you. Strength you never dared to believe in. I am building endurance in you, not the kind that wears you down, but the kind that allows you to stand firm even when storms strike from every side. I am forging you as a blacksmith heats iron to shape it into a mighty instrument, not through destruction, but transformation. Every time you think you are breaking, I am actually making you more flexible. Every time you think you have reached the end, I am opening a new path in you that you once lacked the faith to walk. I have never been the one who traps you. I am the one who makes a way even in a barren desert. What saddens my heart is when you think I have stopped working. You feel as though you walk endlessly without turning the page, and you assume I have forgotten you. But my beloved, there are things I am doing for you that you cannot hear, cannot see, cannot feel in the present moment. I am repositioning the pieces around you, moving the hearts of others connected to your destiny, rearranging circumstances that, if you saw them now, you would think too impossible to change. But I am the one who does all things. I have spoken a word before, and the ocean became still. I have touched blind eyes, and they saw again. I have resurrected the dead. Do you think I cannot shift what surrounds you? Just because your eyes do not see does not mean I am not moving. Believe that every beat of silence is a whisper beneath the surface of the work I am building. Now, as you have walked through that road and your heart is finally prepared, this is the moment I lift the veil, so you may see what I have been arranging with great care. A transformation is about to begin, not just a change in your outer circumstances, but in your spirit, your vision, the deepest nature of who you are. You are about to enter a season where your capacity will expand, your soul will deepen, your sight will reach farther. I am opening a door for you that all the past months of refinement have made you strong enough to step through. Had I opened it sooner, you would not have endured the winds that accompany my blessings. But now, you have grown. The foundation in your heart has deepened. The roots of your faith have anchored. And because of that, what I am preparing will not crush you but lift you into a place you once thought impossible. You will see the things you once considered solid begin to tremble, not to frighten you, but to separate you from foundations no longer meant for you. Old walls will crack so new light may enter. The room your soul has lived in for too long will be cleared so I may rebuild a larger space. You will see some things removed not because you failed, but because they cannot bear the weight of what I am about to entrust to you. I never pour heavy blessings onto weak foundations, for they would become burdens instead of grace. I love you, so I work slowly, carefully, meticulously, and now the foundation is strong enough for me to begin something great. What I have prepared for you is not a small adjustment that beautifies a corner of your life. No, my beloved, it is a transformation that will shift the entire landscape of your inner being, awakening parts of you that have long slept, reviving things you thought were dried up. You will find yourself thinking differently, loving differently, believing differently, and living differently. The days of fear will fade. Old anxieties will lose their grip. The things that once made you hesitate will no longer weigh you down. For I am clothing you with a new garment, giving you a new mind, a new strength formed from every trial you have walked through. And, my child, when you enter this new land, even you will be astonished at who you have become. You will realize that the things that once made you tremble now hold no sway over you. You will see that your faith no longer depends on signs, but on the deep knowledge of me. You will no longer walk by emotion, but by the certainty of one who has experienced me in silence and in storms, in loss and in resurrection. You will know that, though the world changes, I do not. and that truth will become an anchor in your soul, helping you stand firm not only in this season but in those yet to come. Prepare yourself, for you are about to step into a chapter that even heaven rejoices over, a chapter I have long intended for you. Every trial you carried has become strength. Every tear you shed has become a river of purification. Every closed door has become a wall protecting you from what was never meant for you. And now, all of it converges to thrust you into a land where you will look back and say, "So it was all necessary." Walk with courage, for I go before you. Walk with softness, for I walk beside you. Walk with faith, for I uphold you from behind whenever you waver. What I am preparing is not merely great, it is worthy of all you have endured, and infinitely more. Open your heart to receive it, for now is the time I reveal it. My child, I speak to you now with the honesty and warmth of a father who does not want you to lose even one more second wandering. For what I am about to reveal is not something you hear once and forget, but the very light your soul needs to navigate the haze you have just come through. You are standing at a threshold where, if you lean your heart toward the wrong voices, you will be drawn back into the same cycle of uncertainty that wore you down for so long. I cannot let you return there. I call you forward not so you can pretend to be strong, but because I know that right now, your spirit is finally prepared to receive what is coming. I want you to understand that my words to you are not fleeting thoughts, but the breath that sustains your life through the upheavals ahead. Open your heart and sense that every word I speak is intentional, spoken at the right moment, in the right place, precisely for the need of your soul. I am rebuilding your foundation, a foundation no wind of doubt can sweep away, one that no noise of life can drown out. For my peace is being planted within you. You have seen how confusion once led you astray, pulling you from hope to anxiety, from confidence to fear, from prayer to helpless silence. But now I want you to know, if you hold on to my word with both your fragility and your courage, every disturbance that once swallowed your soul will dissolve like smoke in the wind, not because they disappear on their own, but because my light is too strong for them to remain. Hold my word as a traveler holds a lamp in the night, and that steadfastness will open the path I desire for you. I am not sending you alone, I walk with you, so no darkness can extinguish the light I have placed within you. My beloved, my heart aches when I see how you once tried to carry everything on your small shoulders as if the weight of the world belonged to you. But I did not create you to fight alone. My presence is not distant, watching you struggle. I am here to act at the right time, and when I do, you will clearly see that what unfolds does not come from your calculations but from my power. I want you to understand that I am working in the unseen, within the stillness you cannot hear, in moments that feel empty and meaningless. You once thought my silence was to test you, but truly I was silent to build what you were not yet mature enough to understand. And when the time comes, everything will emerge faster than you expect. You will not see the process, but you will see the result, and that result will leave no room for doubt that I acted on your behalf. I know there are days you sit alone and wonder whether your prayers are disappearing into some void. You have questioned whether I listen, whether I see the path you are walking, whether your waiting is in vain. But my beloved, I want you to know every tear you shed is remembered, every sigh you release is heard, and every small hope you cling to while weary is treasured by me. The waiting you think is wasted is the very time I use to prepare the stage for the miracle you will receive. Not a single moment of your waiting is meaningless. I have told you that those who endure will see my glory, and I do not speak lies. Your endurance is the silent offering your soul has lifted to me, even when you thought you were wordless. And I want you to know not one of your prayers has been overlooked. You often think that strength comes from determination or from glorious victories. But true strength is born in the moments when you are at your weakest and still choose to trust in me. You once thought you had to appear steady and unshakable in order to be worthy of blessings. But I declare that my power is made perfect in weakness. You did not understand that your very weariness is the most fertile ground for me to sow my power into. You are not strong when you struggle on your own. You are strong when you dare to hand over to me the things you can no longer carry. Look back and see the times you were most exhausted were the very times you felt me closer than ever. I am in your broken breaths. I am in the hands you press over your face to muffle your sobs. I am in the nights when you try to lull your soul to rest. And it is in those very moments, when you can do nothing at all, that I am doing the greatest things in your life. Lift up your eyes and know that the time which is coming will not resemble anything you have ever been through. You have walked through long seasons of weariness. Days when you thought you would stop altogether. Evenings when you felt there was nothing left to hold on to. Yet every step you took, no matter how slow, even when you did not notice it, has been bringing you closer to what I planned from the beginning. You cannot compare the future I am preparing for you with the past you have lived, because those two worlds do not exist on the same map. You have dwelt in the old land for many years, the land of doubt, of fatigue, of effort without seeing fruit. But what I am preparing for you does not lie in that land. It is in a place your feet have never walked. Open your heart to a new reality, for I am leading you out of the old space of thought, fear, and limitation. Do not think that everything will unfold in the order you desire or according to the logic you are used to. I do not work according to the sequence you lay out. I do what is mine to do in the rhythm of heaven. At times I disrupt your sense of order so that you will know you do not live by your own plans, but by my promises. I will do this in a way that leaves you in awe, so that when you look back, you will not say luck or coincidence, but you will proclaim, "It was the Lord who has done this." You will no longer sit with folded arms wondering when the miracle will come, because you will see it unfolding right before your eyes, and you will know that the timing of my hand is always perfect, always precise, always filled with meaning. Engrave this in your heart. I do not make you wait in order to disappoint you. I make you wait so that you can be prepared. I make you wait so that what I am preparing will be large enough to hold the soul that has been expanded through trials. You have grown more than you realize. You are stronger than you think. You are deeper than you have ever known. And it is precisely for this reason that I speak to you now with such clarity, not to frighten you, but so that you may know my appointed time is near. I want you to rise with a new confidence, a confidence that does not come from your abilities or achievements, but from the understanding that I am the one doing this for you, in a way that only my will designs, only my power accomplishes, and only my love drives forward. Remember that when I stretch out my hand, everything changes. Where you are weak, I will make you strong. Where you are confused, I will bring clarity. Where you see failure, I will lay the foundation for victory. Where you fall silent because you have nothing left to say, I will turn that silence into a testimony for the whole world to see that my hand has been at work in your life. Even the weakest parts of you, the parts you once hid, were ashamed of, wished you could erase from memory, I will use to show that there is nothing I touch that I do not transform into beauty. And now, my child, I want you to keep moving forward, not with trembling steps, but with a heart fully aware that I am going before you. You cannot fail when I am the one leading. You cannot lose your way when I am the one who lights your path. You cannot be left in lack when I am the one holding your hand. Let the words I speak today become the warmth that keeps your heart alive, the compass that keeps your soul aligned, the living water that waters the dry places within you. Stand firm in this truth, for it is not only a promise, it is the reality I am unfolding before your eyes. What I have prepared is about to come to pass, and when it comes, you will know that everything you have waited for, endured, and even shed tears over has been immeasurably worth it. Beloved child, when you begin to see what I am orchestrating in your life, you will understand why I allowed you to walk through those long days when you felt you had no strength to take another step. The tears you once thought were wasted have in fact been watering the soil within you, making it fertile. The restless nights you spent wrestling were the very times I was quietly laying the foundation for the great work your eyes are about to behold. Everything you have walked through, whether burdens that weighed you down or silent stretches of deep pain, has not been meaningless. They have been keys to open the door of maturity, the very tools I have used to shape your spirit in ways peaceful days never could. You have not been losing, you have been being built. And now, as I open before you a new way of seeing, you will realize that the old understanding is no longer sufficient to support what I am about to establish. I am leading you into a depth you were not yet strong enough to enter before, a depth where only those who have passed through refining trials can stand firm. You once thought you understood me, thought you knew how I work, but today I am inviting you into a level of understanding that is wider, clearer, and more enduring. I am not leading you along familiar paths just to leave you at old limits. I lead you through hope and disappointment, through peace and turmoil, so that you may see that what I do far surpasses the rules you once relied on. Do not try to reclaim what is familiar, because the season you are entering is unlike any season you have experienced before. I do not repeat myself, like the pillar of fire that went before Israel in the night. I am opening a way right in the midst of the places you still fear, carving a path where you never imagined there could be an exit. Remember that I am the one who does what is beyond your imagination. Your life is not confined by your past, by your circumstances, or by your fears. If I can part the Red Sea, bring water from the rock, cause the blind to see and the dead to rise, then there is nothing in your life that I cannot change. The label impossible is only your limit, not mine. What I am doing now is not only to transform what you see on the outside, but also to open the eyes of your spirit so that you may understand the quiet movements within, which you were once too restless to perceive. I am removing the haze that made you see yourself through the lens of past failures. I am wiping away the dust that has dimmed the light in your soul. I want you to see more clearly the love I have for you, more clearly the purpose I have planted in you from the beginning, and more clearly the strength I have placed inside you. You do not have to wait for everything around you to change in order to see my hand. The change has already begun within your inner being. Recognize that the subtle stirrings in your soul are not random. Those moments when you feel you no longer fit into what is old, that is me, separating you from the familiar so I can lead you into the place where you truly belong. Those times you feel a stirring and cannot explain where it comes from. That is the Holy Spirit moving in the deepest layers of your being, awakening a life that has been pressed down by all the years you have tried to hold yourself together and be strong. You are being awakened, not by the noise of the world, but by my gentle call, a call leading you out of the narrow frames you once thought were safe. I know there are times you doubt, times when you cannot understand why your inner world is changing so quickly. But be at peace, because you are stepping into the place I have long prepared, a place whose door could only open when you had grown enough to enter. I do not want you to walk in with a divided heart. I want you to enter with clarity, with softness of spirit, and with a faith no longer swayed by passing things. When I open your eyes, you will see that what you once thought was chaos has in fact been moving in the order of heaven. You will see that what you once called mistakes has actually been pushing you into the very position you were meant to occupy. My child, I am taking you from shallow understanding to true insight, from a faith built on emotion to a faith standing on a firm foundation, from limited thinking to a widened vision that only the Holy Spirit can reveal. The vibrations in your soul that you are feeling now are not fleeting emotions, but signs that you are being transformed. Your spirit is growing, and you are being brought to the place where you can receive what I have prepared without trembling before what your eyes see. Walk slowly if you must, but walk steadily. Do not be afraid if you do not yet understand the entire plan. You only need to understand enough to trust that I am going before you. You do not see the whole picture, but I see it in its fullness. You do not yet grasp the meaning of the scattered pieces of your life, but I am fitting them together into something whole. I want you to see with the eyes of one who has been healed, no longer veiled by the mist of old wounds, doubt, or limitation. Let me open your eyes day by day, so that you may see not only what is happening around you, but also the deep things within you that I am making new. You are in a time of transition, and that transition may feel strange to you, but do not fear, for it is precisely within that strangeness that the sign of the new is found. No one steps into a new season while still holding on to the old way of seeing. I am bringing you into a place where you will see clearly what was once obscure, a place where your spiritual intuition will grow strong, a place where you no longer depend on the opinions of others to define who you are. I want you to trust what I am revealing in your heart more than the voices around you, because in this time I am speaking directly to your soul. As you allow me to lead, you will see that it is not the change of circumstances that makes you secure, but the new perspective I place within you that makes you steadfast. You will begin to notice my presence in the smallest details, to see me in the subtle shifts of your heart, to recognize me in the things you once dismissed as random. You will know when I am prompting, when I am restraining, when I am opening a way, and when I am asking you to pause. You will learn to distinguish my voice from the mere echo of anxiety, and when you realize this, you will understand that I do not only want you to know my will, I want you to walk in step with me. Keep walking forward with a peaceful heart, for I am standing right before you, and what lies behind you I have already closed. I am leading you out of the haze of the past into the clear light of the future. Keep your heart soft, so that my next steps for you will not be hindered by your own resistance. For what I am about to unveil will not only show you where you are, but reveal who you were created to become. And when you begin to see with those new eyes, you will realize that every trial, every season of waiting, every tear has been worthy. You are about to step into something that even your former self would not have dared to believe possible. Walk on with me, for you have only begun to see the surface of what I have long prepared in the depths of your soul, my beloved child. Now that you have quieted your heart to hear me from the deepest place within your soul, I desire to bring you into the realm of light where truth is revealed, no longer through the lens of fear or the limitations of reasoning. There are so many things you have tried to explain through your finite understanding, things you attempted to analyze into logic, questions you turned over and over in your mind until your soul grew weary. Yet you did not realize that your reasoning is but a small window, while the story I am writing for you is vast as the heavens. You have tried to fit everything that happens into the framework of your own thoughts. But there are chapters in your life written not with the ink of explanation, but with the ink of divine power. I do not blame you for trying to understand. I simply want you to know that if your reasoning could explain everything, then you would no longer need me. Let me open the door you have been trying to turn on your own but could never unlock, the door of truth, through which everything tangled in your mind will fall back into the order it was meant to have. My child, what you could not understand in the past was not a dead end, but a hidden corner you were not yet bright enough to see. There were moments when you asked me, why me? Why then? Why did what I hoped for collapse just when it seemed closest? Those questions tormented you, making you believe something was wrong with you, or that I had forgotten my promise to you. But today, I tell you, truly, not a single moment in your life has been meaningless. What once frightened you, The seasons you believed I was silent. The days you were pressed into a corner, all were pieces of a much larger picture, of which you saw only a fragment. As I have spoken, my thoughts are not your thoughts. Isaiah 5:5-8. You see only in part, but I see the entire landscape. And when you know this, you will stop blaming yourself for what you could not understand. You once looked at certain events as scribbled lines, as if someone had ruined the page of your life. You thought those failures were the end. Those detours were wrong turns. Those tears were signs that you were not enough. But now I will reveal to you what you never dared imagine, even the pages you thought were ruined, I have been using to complete your story. Do not think that only the radiant days shaped who you are today. It is the dark days that gave you eyes to see, feet that know how to stand, and a heart that knows how to feel. Without those difficult chapters, you would not be mature enough to step into what I am about to place before you. What you thought was an ending was merely my way of changing the paragraph into a rhythm you had not yet learned. There were situations that, at the moment they happened, you could not understand at all. You thought they were punishments. You thought they were closed doors meant to push you back. But I do not close doors to imprison you. I close them to protect you from what you could not see. Like a father pulling his child back from the edge of a cliff, disguised as a path, I held you back many times not to harm you, but to keep you from what could have destroyed you. I used even your pain to rescue you from a greater pain. You thought I was silent, but I was sheltering you in the strongest way, one you could not recognize. He works all things together for good for those who love him. Romans 8:2-8 is not a poetic phrase. It is the law by which I operate in the lives of those who belong to me, and you are among them. Do not think that only your successes are worthy of mention, even your mistakes. I do not waste. You have wandered, chosen wrongly, missed timing, trusted too easily, relied too much on your own strength, but I knew all these things long before they happened. I was never surprised by your stumbling, for I know you in ways you do not yet know yourself. I had already seen your falls, and I had prepared my arms to lift you when you had no strength left. If you look back, you will see that the times you believed you were collapsing were the very moments you found me most clearly. No mistake reaches beyond my hand. No wound is too deep for me to heal. No wrong turn is beyond my ability to guide back into the path you were meant to take. My beloved, I am the one writing the story of your life, not your circumstances, not your errors. Many times you have tried to seize the pen and write according to your own will. I do not blame you, for you wish to control your life. But what you have not understood is that the pen was never designed to rest steady in your hand. When you write, the lines easily tremble, blur, or distort. You create what you believe is beautiful, but a single gust of wind is enough to tear the page in half. But when I write, the river of your life flows through my hand like water moving along a riverbed I myself have carved. There are swift currents, still waters, unexpected bends, yet all flow toward the ocean I have ordained. You only need to let the pen rest in my hand, and you will see your life take on a grace you never thought possible. Do not look at the pages of your past and believe they hold nothing good. Every line you once thought was broken has been a mark I used to carve depth into your character. Each time you rose from pain, your resilience grew stronger. Each disappointment you overcame taught your heart patience. Each night you lay awake not knowing what was happening. Your soul deepened another layer as it learned to cling to me instead of what the eyes could see. You are no longer the person you were years ago. You are no longer fragile, as at the beginning. No longer shallow, as in the early days of this journey. You have been shaped, refined, bent, and remolded, and all by my own hands. Therefore today, when I say that what was tangled will become clear, It is because you have reached the moment when you can perceive the meaning behind the events you have lived through. When I say that what was empty will be filled, it is because I have already prepared abundance for your soul. When I say that what you believed was lost will be restored, it is not mere returning to what was, but making it more beautiful, stronger, and purer than before. I never restore according to your expectation. I restore according to mine, the way that makes the latter more glorious than the beginning. Do not fear the chapters you do not understand, for those are the very chapters where I work most powerfully. You do not need to explain everything, for if you understood everything, then you would no longer need faith. What I desire from you is not an answer, but surrender, so that I may do my part. Let me continue leading you into the stream of the story I myself am writing. You will see that no page of your life has ever been wasted, and the chapter ahead holds more than you have ever dared to dream. Stay in my hands, for I am preparing your next step, a step that, when you look back, will make you say, "Everything was truly arranged for my good, my child." I speak to you now with the solemnity yet tenderness of a father preparing to lead you into a new season, one you would never imagine. I began shaping long before you learned how to rise from the first ruins of your life. What I am building in you is not small, and you must understand this with your heart, not just your mind. I have not formed you to live an ordinary life. I am forging within you a strength that even darkness hesitates before when you step in. I do not bring you through trials merely so you may survive, but so that you may become someone who lifts other souls, those you have not yet met, but who one day will speak your name with gratitude because you became my instrument for them. You think of yourself as small, but I see within you seeds that, with just one breath from me, could rise into an entire forest. My child, I am raising your voice in a way that you may not yet perceive clearly. You think your words echo only within a small circle, but I am extending your influence far beyond what you can imagine. I am placing within you a spiritual steadfastness not given to many, for what I am about to entrust to you requires a heart refined by fire. Remember, my power is never poured out randomly. I give it only to those I myself have shaped to bear the weight of their calling. Your steps, though they may seem slow to you, are becoming firm under my hand. I am placing upon your shoulders a responsibility many cannot carry, not because they are unworthy, but because they have not been prepared as I have been preparing you. It is not by chance that you feel a holy restlessness, a sensitivity to what is right, a discomfort with what is wrong. All these are signs that I am expanding your soul to receive a greater mission. Soon you will notice your environment beginning to change. This is not a crisis, but a sign of the sacred separation I am working in your life. What once felt comfortable may suddenly feel tight and unfamiliar. Conversations you once joined easily will no longer match the level of awareness I am bringing you into. Relationships you once treasured may no longer walk the same path I have set before you. You may feel strange, lonely, or confused, but I want you to know that you are not losing, you are growing. You are not stepping backward, you are stepping out of an old layer and rising into a higher one where you need a new atmosphere to breathe in the rhythm I have destined for you. Understand this when I prepare to elevate someone in spiritual calling. I always begin by purifying their environment, not because I want you separated from people, but because you must be protected from anything that could contaminate the holiness I am cultivating within you. I want you to recognize that what once caused no concern may now feel heavy, stealing your peace, not because it is bad, but because your soul has outgrown the old season. Just as a child's clothes no longer fit when they grow, so the habits and frames of living that once suited you cannot contain what I am placing within you now. Places that once brought you joy will no longer resonate with your spirit. It is not because you have become difficult, arrogant, or distant, but because I am changing the spiritual atmosphere around you. Conversations that once seemed harmless may now drain your soul. Habits that once felt neutral may now feel misaligned with who you are becoming. I am raising the frequency of your spirit, and anything no longer in harmony with that frequency will lose its meaning to you. Do not try to return to the old dimension just to feel familiar again. You are no longer the person you were yesterday. Many times you think you are losing a part of your life, but I tell you, you are not losing anything. You are being set apart, purified, and reshaped. The things I remove from you are not taken to deprive you, but to keep you from being dragged off the course I have ordained. Not everything that was once familiar was meant to walk with you into the road ahead. I know what makes you grow and what slows you down, and I love you enough to clear your path before I lead you into the new portion of your calling. You do not yet recognize that intervention as love, but you will see it more clearly when you step into the days in which you truly need that purity in order to stand firm. I am preparing you for a deeper level of holiness, one that not everyone is willing to enter. Holiness is not perfection. It is being set apart for a greater purpose. I am separating you from what is no longer fitting, so that you can stand in a stronger light that I, myself, have appointed. You will find yourself more sensitive to what is right, more decisive against what is wrong, and more strict with the things that seem small but cloud the soul. This is not a change of personality, it is spiritual maturity. And then, there will come a time when you realize that my changing your environment was only the first step. What I am preparing next goes even deeper. I want you to become someone who creates a holy atmosphere wherever you go, not just someone who is influenced by the place where you stand. Let me continue to lead you, because the journey ahead requires a heart that is ready to be shaped by my hand. My beloved child, now I want you to open your heart wide to receive my words, because what I am about to reveal is the unfolding of a new chapter in your life. A chapter no longer confined by old limitations and no longer bound by the patterns of thought that once caused your soul to close in on itself. Be ready, for this shift will not come in the soft, the hazy way you are used to. It will come in power, in the clear intervention of my hand, like a strong wind sweeping through every corner of your heart, uprooting what has no roots and shaking what once seemed immovable. But do not be afraid, for I do not come to destroy but to purify. I do not come to leave you empty but to make a way. You will feel the shaking, but it is the shaking of a ground being prepared to hold a more solid temple. Just as a storm can topple trees without deep roots, yet strengthen those whose roots are planted by living water, so it will be with you if you let your roots go deep into me. You will not fall. The Psalms once wrote, "The righteous is like a tree planted by streams of water, though storms may come. It still stands tall, and I am that water, ever flowing, ever living, ever sustaining you through every change, even when your foundations are shaken to the point where you feel as though your soul is about to slip from the place where it stands. I want you to remember that some shaking is not meant to break, but to expose what needs to be repaired. That shaking will cause what is unstable to fall away, but it will preserve what has true worth. I have sown truth into your heart, and that truth cannot be erased by any force in this world, because I, myself, am the one who holds it firm. You will find yourself still standing amid strong winds, among the noises of life, in the face of trials that seem beyond your strength, and yet you will not collapse. For within you, there is something many people do not have, a life that I have placed inside you. That life cannot be stolen, cannot be extinguished, cannot be destroyed, because it belongs to me. Everything else may be shaken, but what comes from me will never fall. You must know that the plan I have for you goes far beyond any private hope you have ever carried. You look at your life and see limits of ability, of opportunity, of environment, of strength. But I look at you and see the potential I planted in you from the very beginning. My plan is greater than anything you could imagine, because it does not stop at the dreams you have written down in your most inspired moments. It goes far beyond what you have ever dared to dream or hope. I am doing something far more vast than what you picture. For your life is a single stroke in the great masterpiece I am painting. You are not just an isolated individual, wandering lost in the flow of time. You are part of a larger story, a story that connects you to other people, other pieces, deeper purposes you never thought you would be linked to. You are a single thread in a great tapestry I am weaving. And though that thread may look small, it is still indispensable. There are days when you ask yourself, does my part even matter? I am so small. How can I possibly impact anyone, my child? I see you differently than you see yourself. Your role is not measured by scale or recognition. It is measured by obedience. Even the works you consider anonymous may be vital links in what I am doing. When Noah built the ark, he knew nothing beyond obedience. He simply followed the instructions. Yet that act saved humanity. When a little boy brought 5 loaves and 2 fish to me, no one imagined that such a small portion could feed thousands. The difference did not lie in the bread. It lay in the fact that the boy placed it in my hands. In the same way, your steps, no matter how small they seem, when placed in my hands, become part of something far greater than yourself. Remember that your life does not belong only to you. It is bound up with the journeys of many people you have never met. Your obedience can open a door for someone else to step into freedom. Your steadfastness can become a testimony for someone on the verge of falling. Your perseverance can strengthen the faith of a weary heart. You do not live in isolation. You live within the sacred web of connection that I have established. And as you walk under my guidance, you are contributing to the great movement I am orchestrating in this world, a movement that transcends time and space and surpasses everything you can imagine. I know that at times you feel small, feel insufficient, feel like there is nothing special about you, but you forget that it is precisely your smallness that delights me. I do not choose the strong, I choose the humble. I do not entrust great tasks to the self-satisfied. I entrust them to those who know how to lean on me. I do not use those who think they are perfect. I use those who know they can do nothing without me. When you feel weak, you are closer to me than ever. When you feel small, you become good soil for me to sow into. When you feel limited, that is when my power can blaze forth in you without being eclipsed by your own ego. I am lifting you from the places where you thought you had been left behind. I am healing the hidden corners you have kept in the dark. I am loosening the knots in your soul so that you can step into a role you never imagined you were chosen for. I want you to know that every step you take, even when trembling, carries weight in the spiritual realm. You are not walking alone. You are not moving without meaning. You are moving with the current of the purpose I wrote over your life before you were formed. Stand tall and keep your heart strong, because what I am preparing for you is not only meant to change your life, but to touch the souls who are waiting for the fire you carry. You are part of a divine strategy I am unfolding, a light I myself have kindled, an echo I want to sound forth through your life. And in this preparation, I will not let you be shaken out of place. I will not let you lose your way. I will not let you fall into anything outside of my will. You only need to keep walking, because the new season is no longer far away. It is being poured out, drawing near, opening up, and I will take your hand and lead you in. Now open your whole heart wide and lift up to me the most honest prayers of your soul, like the very breath of your inner being. Almighty God, who sees even the deepest movements within my heart, today I draw near to you with a heart that is being opened, longing for you to shine your light into the places I have never dared to face. I ask that you remove the haze from my eyes that once led me astray. so that the eyes of my spirit can see what you are doing in my life. Please take away the fear that keeps me hiding in the safe zones of my past, and pour into me the courage to step onto the new path you are opening. Even though I have walked through countless long and weary nights, let me recognize that you have never left me, and that every tear has been preparing my eyes to see more clearly, more strongly, more deeply. I ask you to lead me step by step, so that I may discern not only what is happening around me, but also what you are doing within my very soul. Gentle Lord Jesus, I come to you with a longing to hear more clearly the call that is stirring in the depths of my heart. I ask you to break every old pattern I have leaned on, everything that has limited the way I see myself and the way I see your work. Open my heart to recognize that I no longer belong to those old things, for you are leading me into a new time, where your light shines on everything that once lay hidden. If there is anything that makes me hesitate or doubt, please take it away so that my heart is no longer divided between what you want and what I fear. Grant me a holy stillness so I can hear your voice in every step, every breath, and every movement of my soul. Loving Lord, who loves me with perfect love, I thank you for opening my eyes to see what I once only dimly felt. I know that without you, I could never have made it through those dark and challenging stretches of the journey. Thank you for turning pain into strength, failures into steps of growth, and long nights into new light in my spirit. I thank you not only for changing my circumstances, but for changing me, a work I could never have done on my own. My heart is grateful that you have led me into a new season with such gentleness, patience, and deep love. Faithful Father, I thank you for always staying with me, even when I am weak, confused, or unable to understand what you are doing. Thank you that when I thought I was lost, you were in fact leading me, step by step, little by little, towards something better. I am grateful that you have opened the eyes of my spirit so I can see that everything you do is in love. For my good, you have brought me from obscurity into light, from fear into peace, from hesitation into courage. I thank you for not leaving me in the dark, but always drawing me back toward life. I offer this prayer in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that together we can build a strong, growing community of faith